Buckets. Hello and welcome to episode 41 of Two Man Game with Damon and Dom. I'm Damon, that's Dom, and you are the listener. It is Wednesday, June 12th. The Celtics Mavericks game 3 just ended. Celtics are up 3-0. We have a lot to get into before that. Before we do, of course, please, if you're on YouTube, like, comment, and subscribe. If you're on Spotify, give us 5 stars, download the episodes, and on either platform, make sure you share with everybody that you know and everybody that you don't know. There's only 3 kinds of people in this world. There are people that like basketball, and hey, here you go. You can listen to this podcast. There are people that maybe like basketball but don't follow it enough, or they don't really have an opinion. Well, hey, we'll keep you updated on this podcast. And there are people that don't like basketball, and if you show them that, say, hey, look at this podcast, they'll like basketball. Don't worry. So it's a win-win-win for all 3 situations. That's what we do around here, and likely, if you're listening to this, you probably have our number. So, just text us. We'll talk to you. We'll talk to you about basketball. Comment though if you don't. Yeah, it is episode 41, the Dirk Nowitzki episode. I also need to, shout out Dirk, legend, Mavericks legend. Mavericks are in the finals right now, not looking too good for them. But also Udonis Haslem, I didn't shout out last episode 40. So very sorry, Udonis. That's terrible, terrible news.
Forgive us, Udonis, please.
Please. We know you're listening. We know you're watching. You're on our logo. You're our best friend. So, we should have had him on the pod for episode 40. That would,
We'll get him back. We'll
we'll do multiples
80.
of 40. So by episode 80,
exactly.
we'll get him in. But yeah, we have a lot to get into. We're going to talk about the finals. We're going to talk about the Lakers, unfortunately, because I don't know. It's like ESPN and ABC coverage, finals games about to start. And they're like, so how about Dan Hurley? That's a crazy situation. And I'm like, hey, what about the finals, though? We'll just be like that. We'll take a couple seconds on that. But before we get into any of that, Dom, how are you?
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for that very loud introduction.
I was yelling in your
podcast.
ears.
Literally, like if you're not watching this podcast, you need to, because I was bouncing up and down the walls. Just,
they all turned it off. They're like, okay.
Yeah, they're like, stop this. I'm doing good. I'm dog sitting for our friend Mason. So if you hear some barks, that is Junior, a very cute little dachshund that I'm looking after. Unfortunately, though, he's still kind of a puppy, kind of young, and he will be joining us this pod.
Our first guest.
Our first guest. He'll be adding some of his own opinions and to translate if it's relevant. Usually, I think he just wants to play.
You can see Iris back here, my cat on the bed, rolling around. So
we each brought a guest to the. They got their own two-man game going.
Yeah, I don't have an office anymore in my new place, so now my cat will just be joining me probably most of the time.
That's awesome. But yeah, I'm doing good. Yeah, I'm staying. I live in the Valley, but now I'm in Silver Lake, which is a very cool area. I just caught up with some friends who live in this area, and I didn't even know one of them is a huge basketball fan. And we're like talking about the finals, and I'm gonna send him this pod after. So shout out Blake.
Shout out Blake.
Yeah, and Monica. Yeah. So thanks for hanging out with me. But I'm doing good. I'm wearing my I got a UCLA shirt. I literally packed this when I came here just so I would have something to wear on the pod.
That's good. Awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm doing good. We had a show last Friday that was very fun, and I've just been watching basketball when I can. And yeah, mostly just dog sitting. That's like the biggest things. But yeah, how are you doing? Everything looks a bit more put together. You got the on-air sign.
Yeah, I got the
glowing,
the neon blur in the background. I got triple monitor now, so I'm looking at my middle monitor here, and I have monitors to my left and right, both with my Google Doc on one and the game stats on the other, and they're both very bright screens to help the illumination. So that's good. I have some basketball stuff. I didn't realize I would be sitting right in front of it. But I have behind me, which I guess I should have turned a light on, but I'll do some pointing. There's my Harlem Globetrotters basketball I got from the Harlem Globetrotters game when I was a kid. Right here, there's a gray basketball that you literally cannot see at all, but it's a basketball I just got that I've been playing with. It's pretty good. It's called like the Wilson Force or something like that.
You're still rocking Wilson. You still rocking Wilson.
Still rocking Wilson. And then I got my Russell Westbrook Rockets basketball over here.
Okay. I should say you are now rocking the new
Wilson. Yeah, they've been there for a while.
Yeah, I still got a Spalding.
Got the Reggie hat right here. Rockets popcorn box that I stole at a game that was on the floor. I stole it and washed it. This is a Jabari Smith pop, not a pop, like a bobblehead that I got at a game. Tim Duncan bobblehead that I got at a Spurs game, and then Russell Westbrook pop, Hakeem Olajuwon pop. So it's
Hot.
all the basketball stuff. I don't know if I'll put jerseys above it. Maybe I'll have to think about maybe getting some lighting back there so you can see it. Well, I
Yeah,
don't know, maybe, but I'm also sitting right in front of it, so it doesn't matter. I put
it's
it right
cool.
there because I was like, I want it to be right next to the goal. You could see it, and then I'm like, oh, actually, I'm literally right in front of it, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you could probably put like a. Is that your closet door, like behind you on your left that I see right there? Yeah.
This is like a bathroom. My bathroom's right down the corner here. It's like the bathroom
Okay.
utility, towels, whatever.
Oh, I was gonna say you could put stuff on. Never mind. It's not a wall. It's a door, so you can't
It's
do that.
it's a door. It's a door. Yeah. This
Mm,
this room setup is very interesting.
yeah. But how are you? How are
How
you
am
doing?
I? I am good. I am good. I just got done playing pickleball with a new group of friends. Shout out Charlene, Rachel, Jessica, and Cal. Those are the four people I played with.
Shout out all those people. I'm not gonna name them right now.
Yeah, they were very nice. We played pickleball first time I've ever played. It was really fun. I got a paddle and all that. And yeah, I mean, I played tennis in high school and ping pong in college, so I felt like I was pretty like good with the mechanics. But it was a lot of fun, and we went to Hop Dotty afterwards, and that was fun too. And now we're going to play some more. I think we were like, oh yeah, let's definitely do this again. So shout out those people. I have no idea if they'll ever know that this. I told them that this existed. I don't know if I'll send it to them though. We'll see.
I mean,
Um,
you talk about it enough, and they'll probably be like, "Yeah, I'll catch it one of these times." And
right.
you have to watch the Dirk Nowitzki episode. You gotta watch
You
the Dirk.
gotta watch the Dirk episode.
You're
Yeah,
missing. You haven't watched the Dirk Nowitzki episode yet. I actually like that we would refer to these episodes as players.
that's yeah, yeah.
That's kind of cool. That way it would be kind of fun. Like this is the one where we had our first guest, the Dirk Nowitzki
The
episode.
Dirk
And
Nowitzki
so
episode where Junior barked the whole time.
yeah, it's kind of funny
Um,
because like it sounds like the Dirk Nowitzki episode is the one that we had Dirk Nowitzki on. That's our
Oh,
guest.
that was our guest
Yeah,
who could have been
totally.
man during the finals. Whoa.
Yeah, it's crazy. He was like, no, I have to do this pod with Damon and Dom. They have a really good two-man game happening. I like it. Like Luka and Kyrie are good, but I mean, let's face it, they're gonna be 3-0 after tonight. So I gotta
Right.
but
Yeah, no, it's good. I'm good. I hung out with Bryce yesterday. That was nice. He is, a friend of ours from high school visiting in from Boston for some meetings and reached out to me and we played Heave Ho, which I think you've played the potato game where your potatoes like, yeah, we played a little Mario Kart. He beat me. I don't get beat in Mario Kart often. So, that was humbling. And then we played Family Feud, and that was kind of a blast. Family Feud is so goofy. Uh,
it's
eh,
so goofy. It's so fun. But two people like are you on the same team
yeah, we
or
were we were a family, and then we were going against bots.
I love that. Also, I love it. I just got a notification on my phone that it says from the NBA app, Kyrie's hot hand. Watch Mavs star lead all scorers with 35 points in game 3 versus Celtics. Neglects to mention they lost.
They lost. Yeah.
So, I'm like, so yeah, I'm gonna watch him make 35 points and lose. Yeah, that sounds really fun. It's like, I don't know about that. I don't think I'm gonna partake.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad you got to see Bryce. I haven't seen Bryce in forever, so that's
Yeah.
cool.
It was cool. We chatted a lot as well while we were playing, and we ate at a
Yeah,
Mexican place across the street as well.
nice.
And then I played basketball this past weekend. So busy time of the year for me, I guess. Um,
Very cool.
I was kind of rusty the first hour and 15 minutes, and then the last 15 minutes I was like, oh, I get it now.
Well,
And then I was like, oh, now I'm leaving.
yeah, you know what I've realized, which is how like so when you go to a game or you stream a game, like you see how long they take to warm up. Like they're literally out there shooting baskets for like an hour. You know what I mean? Like just putting up
Yeah.
shots. Like yeah, they're not running plays or they're just like literally just shooting, getting warm. And like the more I play, the more I realize like the longer I'm out there, just getting some shots up before I play a game, the better I am. Like there is something about like I'm getting warm, like getting hot. Like I never wanted to like break a sweat before I played a game, but I realized I was better during the game when I was, just shooting around more. So I guess there's something to it. What can I
Yeah.
say?
Yeah.
Um,
I
yeah.
saw you looking back at our guest. What's our guest doing over there?
I thought he was biting the gate, but I think he's biting a bone. He's biting a
Great.
bone, as
Great.
dogs do.
As dogs do for sure.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, I was definitely like missing shot shorting. I literally was standing in the corner and I was like trying to make a corner three and I literally hit the front rim and had the ball bounce back to me like 6 times in a row. I was like, okay, that's one. That's two. I was like, oh, how many times is it gonna happen? I kept shooting it, it kept hitting the front rim and bouncing back to me. It was spectacular.
Yeah, it's
Um,
literally like that's a warm up shot. Like, you find a spot and you try to like just get like that. Because I'm sure it's like, like you're not playing with your ball probably, and then like you're getting used to the weight and whatever, like wind and things like that. So, oh, you're inside. You play inside,
yeah, at the rec center, yeah.
so you can't blame the wind. I'm sorry, brother.
I was playing with my ball too.
Okay, so you
But it
can't.
is a new ball. It's the first time I played with it,
Oh,
to
okay,
be
okay.
fair.
You're Wilson Forge. Wilson
My
Forge.
Wilson Forge, yeah, it's great. It's kind of cool. Yeah, my other ball I
Yeah.
just got like 2 months ago, I guess had a hole in it because every time I aired it up, it would just be flat again. So I was like, okay, throwing this away, garbage. Give me a new ball.
Yeah, I think last year for my birthday I bought like a good $35 basketball. And it still is. I bought an outdoor ball because I play outdoors, and
Hmm.
that way it doesn't lose the grip, and it does very well.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to get an outdoor ball too, probably. Um,
Yeah,
but
but yeah. Well, I'm glad you're doing well. I'm glad you're playing basketball and pickleball and playing all the sports. I'm probably gonna play basketball this weekend with some friends, so
mhm.
looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to the Lakers trying to find a new head coach.
Yeah, let's get into it. Let's talk about the godforsaken Lakers.
Yeah,
Because that's what literally ESPN and ABC, fucking Adrian Wojnarowski every game. Let me tell you about the Dan Hurley situation. So this is what's going on. Dan Hurley is the front runner, and they're flying him out here, and they're going to offer him this great contract, and it's going to be so fucking awesome. And oh, here's the finals game is starting. Oh yeah, let's watch the finals. I'm like, what the hell is going on? What kind of pregame coverage is this? I miss TNT. I miss TNT.
yeah, I do too. Because honestly, like as a Lakers fan, okay, I saw okay, Dan Hurley is the front runner. They offered him a lot of money. He declined it, and I'm like, okay, whatever. I am past this. No one else is. Everyone else is like, oh, did you see the Lakers? Did you see that they accept it? Like, I don't care anymore. I'm on to the next thing. Let me just keep this moving. But if you're not aware, so the Lakers, they dismissed Darvin Ham, I think last month
Mhm.
after getting, losing in the first round after 2 years of being a head coach. So they flew out. So they're looking for a head coach. We mentioned this on the earlier pods, but a new name kind of emerged. Dan Hurley, the NCAA championship coach at UConn, University of Connecticut.
Back to back.
They back to back. Lakers flew him out to LA to interview, and they offered him a 6 year, $70 million contract, and he declined.
It's a big contract.
It's a big contract. He would have been one of the highest paid coaches in the NBA. So he declined it. He's working on an extension with UConn now. And in all honesty, I understand. You just won back-to-back championships. You have a good thing going. Why? It's almost like when you gamble or you're like playing like you're on a hot streak. Why would you leave the table, right? It's like I have a good thing going at UConn. Why would I leave to go to the NBA? He can probably go to the NBA whenever he wants. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I don't I don't think you necessarily have to read into it the fact that it's like I feel like people might be reading into it like, oh, it's because the Lakers are doomed or they're not going to be good or whatever. And I doubt that. To me, it just seems like he's a college coach and he's doing really well. Why would you leave that? You know? And
Yeah,
he's
it's like why go from a situation where he won back-to-back champions in the college scene to the Lakers who have had to get in the playoffs through the play-in every year with 41-year-old LeBron James who is, aging
exactly.
out.
It
Yeah, it's
makes
not an
total
ideal
sense.
situation.
I don't understand why people are making a big deal out of it.
And
So
like,
yeah,
when you watch UConn and Dan Hurley very famously gets like pumped up during their games and it's like, yeah, let's go. But college is a lot different, College is very much coaching a system and getting the players to buy into that system. And the NBA, someone like LeBron on your team, how much control are you going to have over the plays that you run? How much voice are you going to have in the locker room? Where I feel like, as a college coach, they're still basically kids. So it's like you have 100% control, even if you have the best college program in the country, because the coach is kind of what makes the program, I think. So,
absolutely. I totally agree with that sentiment. And I just think it wasn't probably like the best fit for him. Also, I'm sure you have a life, you have a family and things like that. UConn is nowhere near LA, so it's like things are uprooting and it just makes sense. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't also to me, he wasn't like the one that's gonna make us. I don't think any head coach we get is gonna make us, a team or whatever. So
Yeah.
it's just about finding a good head coach. And I guess we're still right now the front runners are gonna be JJ Redick and the guy from the Hornets, John Boy something.
James Brago.
James Break, close enough.
Yeah,
For sure.
it's funny because Shams, the athletic reporter, if you don't know, in terms of our listener, not you, I know you know, but he reported like JJ Redick's the front runner, look out, and then like Woj was like Dan Hurley's the front runner, look out, everybody, they're flying about, da, 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 da. And then he declined, and he's like, all right, I guess maybe it's JJ, maybe JJ Redick now, and then Shams posted and was like Dan Hurley was the front runner, but actually JJ Redick's gonna get the job anyways. That's why, like they always like do this thing where they like try to one up each other. It's kind of silly.
I always thought I didn't know who these people were, Woj or Shams, until I got back into basketball like in 2020.
Yeah,
So I don't watch any of their stuff or anything. I just see their tweets.
exactly.
I always assumed they kind of worked together because they're like the two newsbreakers, right?
Yeah.
So it's like why would they work two separate places? They're both breaking, similar-ish news. So I guess they do work separate.
No, they're
So
rivals. They're
that's
rivals in the game.
was like, what can I be one of those? Like, can I just hop on?
Who becomes the third guy?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I
you
don't know
and
how that
me.
works. Like you have to get trusted sources on every team to get. It's so weird because like they break the information, but like you feel like what should happen is the organization should break the information because it's the organization. But I guess like literally there's a trusted source in each organization that leaks the information to Shams and Woj, and then they let it out there. Um,
I will say it makes it easier to, let's say, like, instead of me following all 30 NBA teams on X or Instagram or whatever, I just follow two people that are going to break news to me.
that's fair. That's very fair.
That's the only, I mean, that's the only
What about
way
when they leak
to see
stuff they're
it.
not allowed to? That's like
They're
stuff
like,
they don't have permission for.
whoopsies.
Like when the Cavs got eliminated from the playoffs and they were like, here's this 10-page article about the Cavs offseason and everything that's horrible. It was like, what? How did you
yeah,
already
it's
have
like,
all this information?
it's almost like, I mean, so you and all that information is funny, but I think it's almost funny. Like, I know you and I will sometimes watch like 2K YouTube videos for fun or whatever, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like Click Productions or even Kenny will like make those like Sims. Like right now, I'm sure he's making a like, oh, let's make the Mavericks win the finals. Like, how did we make them win the finals, even though they haven't lost yet? So it's
Right.
almost like that. It's like I'm gonna type out these 10 all these things that are gonna happen this offseason, even though they're still in the
Yeah.
game. So it's just kind of funny. But there's more Lakers news.
More Lakers news, and this is tragic for sure.
The sad one for
Uh,
sure.
NBA legend, the logo himself, Jerry West, passed away today at the age of 86. I looked this up just because I wanted to, have some things to shout out about him. But he played 14 years in the NBA. He was an all-star all 14 years, from his rookie year to his last year.
That's crazy.
That's nuts. And his career average for his whole career, 27 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds. That's crazy for your whole career. That's a wild number. That's like peak seasons, right there, 27, 7, and 6.
Sounds like logo material, if I might say.
Logo material, yeah. And his nickname, I guess, back then was also Mr. Clutch, which is why they made him the
Yeah.
Jerry West Clutch Player of the Year or whatever. He finished, I saw top 5 in MVP 8 times, but he never won any of them. So I thought that was interesting. And he had only one championship ring in his career. Most of them, this came in the Bill Russell Celtics that won 11 championships in a 13-year span, including 8 in a row. So they lost to them all the time.
Yeah, I remember reading about that, and it's so funny because to be the logo and to only have one chance, it really goes to show that like you can judge players on how many championship wins they have, but sometimes that isn't as much as it is the end goal and what every player wants. It isn't everything, And even though he had a 14-year career, like he did so much. I know it's the next thing you're going to say, but he did so much as an executive for the Lakers as well, like putting together teams and championships. So, just because your career ends one way doesn't mean that's going to be because for forever he was the guy that lost to Bill Russell all the
Mm-hmm.
time, and
Mm-hmm.
the finals. But now it became more than just that. So just goes to show. So
Yeah,
a lot of respect to that.
we mentioned before, he was already in the Hall of Fame as a player, and I think as a part of the 90 some no, like the 70 something Olympic team.
Yeah,
And then he got inducted this year for the third time as a executive for the Clippers. So,
yeah.
um, three-time Hall of Fame inductee, the only one ever. Glad he was inducted by or right before he passed rather than post-mortem. And yeah, we talked about this a little bit before the pod, but my conspiracy theory is that Jerry West couldn't stand the Celtics getting banner number 18. He couldn't believe to see the day, so
He's like, they goddamn got me again.
he was like, I can't. I said when KG and Paul Pierce won, I'll never see it again. Sorry.
Yeah, and so
Uh,
like, every year, so like when they were in the finals 2 years ago, he was like, "Please, I want more, I want a couple more years, come on." And then Phoenix came back, and then Warriors won. He's like, "Oh, thank God, I can, I don't have to do it just yet."
yeah,
But
it
he's
was.
writing on the wall, and it's like, okay,
He was 2-0, and he was like, "All right, I'm out of here."
yeah. Although, oh no, it wasn't the Celtics. I was gonna say that they came back and won. No, it was the Bucks were down 2-0 against the Suns and came back and won. So
Mm-hmm.
Celtics were up 2-0 against the Warriors and ended up losing. I remember
Hmm.
that. But yeah, anyways, yeah, historic player, um, highly respected, and he will be missed. I also read that he did die like and with his wife by his side, so it was a very peaceful passing. It wasn't, anything too tragic. It was just that time. So thank you, Jerry West.
Thank you, Jerry West.
The logo. That's such a cool, like, the more I was thinking about it, like, that's such a cool, like, nickname. Imagine if you're the logo
I'm
of
the
what you played.
the logo of the best basketball association in the world.
Yeah, it is crazy. I think about that a lot. And I also think about how, like, Michael Jordan has his own brand and, like, like jerseys of the game he played are
Mm.
he's literally on, like, all the jerseys too,
Yeah,
or some of the teams that are Jordan
yeah, that
brands.
is crazy.
Yeah,
That is
yeah, it
crazy.
is wild. But yeah, so enough Lakers stuff because it's not about the Lakers right now. We're not ESPN or ABC. We're
I
talking
can do my best Stephen A.
5:30.
impression on our pod if
You
you
want
want.
to do you want to do a Stephen A impression right now?
Not right now, but I didn't prepare anything, so
I was gonna. I'm not going to. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm
okay.
not gonna do a Stephen A impression.
Who else is on that show? It used to be
I'll
Max
do.
Kellerman, but it's somebody else now. I think Shannon
Um,
Sharp's on that show
it's
sometimes.
some older. It's some older
I know
white
Molly
man.
Molly Curum is on it. I think JJ Reddick goes on it sometimes. I
Yeah,
think
it's some older
Austin
white
Rivers goes on it
interviewers.
sometimes. I don't know.
I guess. Yeah, I could
Who
do Doris
knows?
Burke.
All right, I'll
I
be
mean,
Mike Breen.
okay.
Bang! Bang! Bang!
I was watching Game 3 today,
Hmm.
um, here at Mason's, and Junior was around me, and every time, so Kyrie made a lot of threes and was very good. So every time he made a three, I just looked at Junior and I yelled "bang," and he kind of didn't know what to expect. So, but he's okay. Junior's okay. We're fine. But let's talk about the finals. We're gonna be okay.
Let's get into it. Let's get into
Let's just
it.
get into it. Let's just do it.
You want
So
you want to take game one or
I'll
yeah?
I'll take game 1 because then
All
I can
right,
talk a little about Game 3 because I watched
sure.
that one. So right, if you don't know, it's Boston Celtics, Dallas Mavericks are in the finals. They're Kristaps Porzingis, Game 1 and Game 2 he played, became off the bench because he did not play the previous 10 playoff games.
Hmm.
So that was a big storyline. Will he play? Won't he play? And he did. And Celtics took Game 1 and pretty handily. This one was not super interesting to watch. It was kind of close in the beginning,
Hmm.
in the first 6 minutes, but then the Celtics started taking control when Porzingis came in. He played 7 minutes off the bench and scored 11 points and blocked 3 shots in that quarter. It was wild to watch. I was like, this guy off the bench, it's crazy.
Yeah.
The Celtics also made 7 threes as a team in the first quarter. So the first quarter ended 37-20. Largest lead at the end of the first in finals history, which is
Not a good
what
look.
not a good look, but also I read that and I'm like, this is not gonna be the record for long. Like
Hmm.
there's no way there's going to be a team next year or the year after. It's going to just blow us out of the water. It's just that's just how the NBA is nowadays. I was very surprised to see that. But um, in second quarter, Celtics extended their lead to 29. Not a good look. They doubled the Mavs score in the second due to a lot of sloppy offense by the Mavs and a lot of good defense by the Celtics. Mavericks had a lot of turnovers, pretty careless. They could not make their shots. Celtics doing Celtic things, continuing to move the ball, get decent looks, playing a lot of Missoula ball, shooting threes, making quite a few of them.
Mazula ball.
Missoula ball.
Title of the episode, Mazula ball.
Thank you, Jerry West, Missoula ball. Luka made a lot of shots to bring the gap to 21, but it was still 63-42 at the half. At this point, I do want to say too, I think a big reason why not a reason, but I do have to say that the Mavericks, what's irking me the most about watching them play this series is that they are not making their free throws.
Mm-hmm.
They are, especially game two, which is atrocious,
Mm-hmm.
especially in such a close game. And even in game one, they were just missing like Luka, I think in this series for the season, he was about 79, 80%. This series, he's like 55% from the free point line. Sorry, the free throw line.
Yeah, I think I
And
have
like,
some stats in there.
yeah, which okay, we'll get to. But anyways, that was just something I wanted to bring up because it's those are literally
It's
free
irking me.
throws. It's irking me. It's irking me. Missoula balls irking me. Um, anyways, game one, second half. Mavs had a bit more success defending, rebounding early in the third. They eventually brought the game, made an 8-point game. Celtics were taking timeouts. Luka's effort on offense was just otherworldly, Luka magic, as we all say. But then the Celtics flipped the script towards the end of the third, and it was mostly due to Jaylen Brown, the best player in the finals, or second best player. Isn't that
We'll
what
get
Jason
there.
Kidd said? We'll
We'll
get
get.
there.
Oh, Jason
Uh,
Kidd said he's the best player on their team. Yeah.
oh yeah, yeah,
After
yeah,
game one, he said he's the best
yeah.
player on that team, so he's hard to deal with.
So Jaylen Brown, he was
It,
driving into the paint, drawing fouls, played a lot of great help defense on the other end, preventing a lot of shots. As a 14-2 run by the Celtics to end the quarter, so close to a 14-0
so
run.
close.
Why did they have to make those 2 points? But after three quarters, it was 86-66, 20-point game. I mean, at this point, sure, a lot of people turned the game off.
Yeah.
The Celtics kept their foot on the gas in the fourth. Mavs just looked tired and gassed. They just didn't have it in them. And with a little over 4 minutes left and down 25, the Mavs subbed in Jaden Hardy, Dante Exum, Tim Hardaway Jr., Josh Green, and Dwight Powell. And that's when I turned the game off. When they did that, that's when I turned I was driving, like listening, and then I was like, all right, here we have Jaden Hardy, Dante Exum, Dwight Powell. I was like, okay, Dwight Powell. Okay, there we go.
No, that's all you
Appreciate it.
need to
I was
say.
like, and there you have it. Do you want to do the general observations since that was kind of your observations?
Yeah, so I took down some things I just noted from the game. I mentioned when we were predicting the series, I thought the Celtics would blitz Luka, and they haven't blitzed him at all. And this was after game one when I wrote this, but it's applied to all three games. Basically, what they've been doing is they've been putting Jayson Tatum on Gafford or Lively, and they've been putting their big on Derek Jones or PJ Washington or whatever, whether that's Porzingis or Al Horford, and they keep switching that way, not allowing Luka to have the easy lob attempts that he has with the big man. And if he does switch with the big man, well, then you get Jayson Tatum switched on you. So, he's a pretty good defender. So that really surprised me because I thought they were going to blitz him, and that just becomes Luka making the right pass, which we know he can do. But instead, what they did instead was we're going to switch everything because all five of our guys we think are decent enough defenders, and we'll just force you to beat us one-on-one if that's what you want to do. And when he would switch with a guy that's maybe a lesser defender, not even a lesser defender, because like Derek White's a good defender, but like he's just a lot shorter than Luka. The other guys, Daniel Gafford, whoever, are still clogging the paint. And if he tried to drive himself, well, then he would drive into Tatum or whoever was guarding. So that defense was working really, really well for the Mavericks. And then on the other end, the Mavericks bigs were being exposed by the spacing of the Celtics. Gafford and Lively just didn't have the foot speed to keep up with Porzingis and Al Horford on the 3-point line. So the Celtics were just shooting all day. And I thought Tatum, there's a lot of narrative after the first game. He had not a great stat line when you look at the box score, but I actually think he had a pretty good game. He definitely shot inefficiently. That is worth noting. I think the first two games he shot like 31% or something, which is not good. But man, he was doing a lot of initiating, a lot of driving in to the middle of the paint and then kicking out to his guys that he thinks are going to make the shots. So he's been drawing defenders, getting help defense, and then making the right play. Um, and I thought
Yeah,
that was worth noting because I feel like people were like, "Oh my God, he's not even the best player on the team again." Da, da, da. But like he was actually playing pretty well. He just wasn't scoring up in bunches.
yeah, and just because he's not making shots like this series or like this second doesn't mean he's not eventually going to convert them. Like you have to respect him. Like you're not going to leave him open on the 3-point line, even if he did miss like 8 in a row or whatever.
Right.
So that also makes it harder to guard.
Yeah. And even like if he made the right pass and that person made a pass and that person made a pass and he got a hockey assist, that's not going to show up in the stat page, but still the right play, still winning team basketball, I think is what the Celtics have been doing, whereas the Mavericks have been doing a lot of Luka ball.
Yeah, a lot of ISO, which I've noticed as well in game one, also a bit of game two, but we'll get to game two. But some of the relevant stats that you put down as well for game one is that the Celtics attempted 15 more threes than the Mavericks, and they made 9 more. I mean, that's 16 made from 42 compared to 7 to 27. I mean, that's just, they're making the
27 more
shots.
points on threes.
Yeah, that's just insane, especially in that first quarter. That first quarter was crazy. The Celtics also had 14 more assists than the Mavericks, which we kind of mentioned. Luka only had 1 assist on 6 assist opportunities, and the Mavs converted 0 lob attempts. So this is something I remember seeing a lot about is that he only had 1 assist. I mean, that's not very Luka-like at all.
Yeah. When's the last
Um,
time he had one assist?
literally, I've never seen him only have one
Take
assist.
a guess. I know the answer.
Like his rookie year,
His rookie year.
maybe. Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say. Yeah,
He's made 5 first-team All-NBA teams in a row.
yeah.
This is
I
rookie year. This is the last time that this happened. So
Yeah, it just doesn't it's not in his game. So the Celtics really counted on the others trying to beat them,
yeah,
and they did a good job of
they
doing that.
counted on the others, or they counted on constant Luka
Yeah,
like ISO and
and it's exhausting. It's exhaust like you can
yeah.
explain, like it's
It's
not.
exhausting. He's obviously hurt, which we'll get into a little more later, but he's had ankle injuries, head injuries, rib injuries all throughout the playoffs. I think it was during this game he took a charge from Jaylen Brown, or maybe it was game two.
I don't remember. I remember the play. I think it
Yeah.
was game one. I remember because I remember the jerseys they were wearing were the correct ones. So okay, just real quick, guy. Okay, if you're the home team, you wear white or the alternate color. So if you're the Celtics, you're gonna wear white or green. Okay.
Yeah.
If you're the away team, you're gonna wear your away jersey, which is not white. Stop wearing white if you're the away team. That's it. I hate it. I hate it so much.
Yeah, totally agree with that. It is yucky. Yeah, I think one assist is crazy. I think 6 assist opportunities may be crazier. The fact that he only had 6 plays that could have even resulted in an assist. It's just how much they were doing. And then on the other end, I don't know if we'll probably I don't know if I had it as a note later, but Luka also being hunted a little bit on defense, not because he's necessarily been a bad defender, but just to exhaust him. Um, so
Yeah,
yeah,
I did notice that this game that they
yeah.
were really hunting him quite a bit. I think also because like the injury thing too, like you
Hmm.
don't want to ever say out loud, "Hey, I know you're injured. I'm gonna hunt you," or like I'm gonna look for that
But
match.
that's what's happening.
That's what I'm gonna do. Look, if I know your right knee isn't doing that well, guess what direction I'm gonna go? I'm gonna go right. You know what I mean? So that's just part of the game though. So that's just smart basketball. Can't really be mad about that. But yeah, game one was kind of it was a letdown, really, I think, for a lot of people because it was such a
This
I don't
whole
want
finals has been a little bit of a letdown.
for sure. And I thought last year was a letdown, but this has been I really wanted them to win today. Obviously, I think this was their time too, but we'll get into a little bit more about what it didn't happen. But
Yeah.
before we get to game three, we gotta talk about game two.
But we got to talk about game two. Let's talk 108-95, probably the best game of the series so far. Luka started the game 5 of 7 in the first quarter. He had 13 points. I think it was like in the first couple minutes too, most of his points as well. First 13 of the first 22 Maverick points. I remember when I was watching. The Mavericks looked like they were playing with a faster pace in this game. They weren't allowing the Celtic defense to kind of get their switch defense ready, so they were pushing a lot in transition. Um, the Celtics also couldn't make a three in the first. They shot 1 of 9. Al Horford hitting a three, I think, late in the quarter, for their first one after being 0 of 8. Porzingis, again, you mentioned earlier, having an impact off the bench. He scored 8 for the Celtics in the first quarter in a very few minutes, like 4 or 5 minutes. And the game was chippy early on. There's a lot of kind of getting into each other, pushes and stuff. Celtics shot 10 of 10 from the line. Maverick shot 4 from 9 in the first quarter, 19 free throws, because that's what people want to watch. And yeah, Mavericks missing 5. That's brutal. In the first
Especially when
quarter.
you look at the end of when you look at the end of the game and how it
Yeah.
could have turned out, like it's just. I mean, it should have been at like 7 to 9. Should not. You cannot just make 4 of 9.
4 of 9 is crazy, especially when the other team is 10 of 10. 28-25. Mavs still had the lead after the first quarter. Luka, in the first 2 minutes of the second quarter, scored 7 points against Jaylen Brown as the primary defender, which was interesting to see. And he had 20 early on in the second, so he was cooking early. Aside from that, though, both teams looked pretty sloppy. There were lots of turnovers, lots of transition buckets. Jrue Holiday, however, had a pretty good half on both sides of the floor. He went in halftime with 17, I think, leading the Celtics in scoring. And they were up 54 51 despite only 3 made threes. So they are shooting a lot. They just weren't making any.
That was the stat. I was like, while watching this game, it was like I think I forgot. I think I was talking to Saul. Shout out Saul. I said there's the making that many threes in like game one not sustainable. There's going to be a
Yeah.
game where they're not making any, and this was that game,
This was that
hands
game.
down
And this a
for
game
sure.
and this a game you have to win.
They have to win, and guess what? They still had the lead. I mean, that props to the Celtics for like, really like, having a lot of different ways to play the game. Like they live and die by the three for sure. But
Hmm.
the thing is, like I said, like Jrue Holiday really just doing whatever the team needs and getting out in transition and getting turnovers. Like I saw converting on those turnovers. I saw a lot of that kind of stuff happening. So yeah, it's just good basketball.
Yeah. Going into the second half, the third quarter was pretty back and forth. The Mavs were down to 2, and the Celtics went on a 10-0 run to go up by 12. There's a lot of defense, offense buckets. Jrue Holiday was a big proponent again in this, as well as Jayson Tatum. And I didn't mention in game one, Luka got ripped a couple times by like Jaylen Brown, I think twice, and I think Sam Hauser even picked his pocket for like a transition layup. So careless turnovers, really.
Not a good look. Yeah, and I remember watching. It was a lot of like so like Luka would kind of back down and try to turn around, and then the arm would come around and just kind of poke the ball loose. It was like a
Hmm.
lot of that happening. So it's not
Yeah.
taking care of the basketball.
And he was doing the thing like he did against the Wolves, when he would have Jade McDaniels behind him. He was trying to keep his defender behind him, and the Celtics were like, okay, I'm just going to poke at the ball when I'm behind you, rather than try to do anything else. It looked like Porzingis ended up getting injured. He kind of limped up and down the court late in the third, before exiting the game, and we have an update about that we'll get into later. The Mavs ended up cutting into the lead a bit, but very big momentum killer in this one. Peyton Pritchard hit a half-court three right at the end of the third quarter, to put the Celtics up 9, 83-74. The Mavs had a really good quarter after being down kind of big, and ending the quarter like going into the fourth momentum, and that was a big shot, I think.
Yeah, I remember seeing that and was like I was feeling good about the game. Again, like their threes are not making their threes. It's like yeah, just take better care of the basketball, and then you're going to be able to maybe pull out a win in this game. And then you see that Peyton Pritchard of all people. I mean, he's a good basketball player, good, great NBA player. He's good. He's good. But to make that, and when your team like when at this point they maybe got like 5 threes, you're like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Guy's gonna make a half court shot right now when we need like that moment.
First points of the series, by the way.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy. Congrats to him. It was a good shot.
Yeah. And then in the fourth, Boston continued scoring easily in transition, finally started making some threes. Just as it looked like they were going to pull away, Kyrie Irving scored back-to-back buckets. Welcome to the series, Kyrie. We haven't talked about you a lot because you haven't been doing a lot. And he brought the deficit to 7. And then the Celtics, again by Jrue Holiday. He had a monster game in game 2. Extended their lead to 14, the largest of the game. He was just all over the place on defense, getting easy kind of defensive possession, steals, what have you, getting points in transition, etc. And then, surprisingly, I thought the game was over. The Mavs went on a 9-0 run to bring the game within 5 with over a minute to go. It was huge. And then we get a big controversial play. The Mavs, I believe, forced a turnover, and then we're going down the court. PJ Washington gets it in transition. Jaylen Brown's behind him. Derek White's a little further behind. He goes up for a layup. It is blocked by Derek White and then by Jaylen Brown. It's blocked by both of them. On the replay, though, it's pretty clear that Jaylen Brown has an arm right in the back of PJ Washington, kind of forcing him out of bounds. And most times that's going to be called a foul, perhaps even a transition take foul, because he was, in front of all the defenders. And it would have cut the game to 3, assuming he made the free throws, which has been an issue for the Mavs. But then it would have been a 3-point game with a minute to go. Now, I don't think, the Mavs necessarily lost the game because of this call. I think the Celtics were doing a great job winning the game regardless, but definitely changed what could have been a different outcome down the stretch. Especially, I mentioned earlier the amount of free throws that were shot in the first quarter. This game was like fouls galore. So for this one to not be called in real time, I kind of understand because you can't really tell, but in the replay, it's like so clear that he's pushing him in the back, and I feel like 9 out of 10 times that's a foul, but I guess this was the 1 out of 10 that it wasn't.
I think what got to me though is that like there is quite a few, there's this, like we said, a lot of this game was like there's a lot of turnovers, a lot of transition, shots that were made, and that wasn't the first time in the game where there was a push in the back or like attempted block and a foul was called any other time, but it was like ended the game on the line, and that's when they decide, oh, now we're not going to slow the game down by calling fouls. We're going to let them
Right.
play it out. It's like that's the consistency that you know I will say like a lot of I personally haven't noticed that the officiating has like got on my nerves necessarily.
Yeah.
There was, I mean, I remember in game 3, which I might mention, I noticed that there was a call overturned, like a challenge, and it was
Mm.
so obviously like multiple fouls, but but like again, like that was not a momentum shifter or anything. Like this is the only thing I can really pull up to me that seemed like just weird that they called it
Mhm.
all game and then decided not to now. It's weird.
Yeah, and not only would it have brought the lead to 3, but since they didn't call a foul, Celtics pushed the ball. Jaylen Brown gets a layup on the other end. Now instead of a 5-point game, it's a 7-point game with less than a minute left. So it's basically over. Some general observations I noted here in this game. Celtics driving to the paint a ton. And they're doing this in big part to Gafford and Lively again being extended to the 3-point line with Porzingis or Al Horford on the floor. Or Xavier Tillman, I guess, in game 3. But this is letting them kind of get to the paint without the big being there, and then they're kind of initiating offense that way, shooting a lot of buckets in the paint, which has been really, really good for them. Um, Luka is doing everything for the Mavs. I think we kind of talked about that already. He was the one initiating offense. Kyrie has, secondary star, has not been good or was not good the first 2 games. Um, so it was Luka ball, whereas the Celtics, it was team ball. They were kicking the ball around, shooting threes, and that's how they were winning every time.
Yeah.
Relevant stats. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say a team effort is gonna win you. Never in any NBA finals has it been one person that wins. Like
Yeah,
you're gonna maybe you'll have a good series, but you're not if one player is playing out of their mind but everyone else isn't, the team that's playing all very good together is always gonna win. Just gonna
yeah,
say, but yeah.
yeah. And when we did our top 10 players of the series, I think when it was 9 out of the top 9 were like 6 Celtics. So,
Yeah,
it,
yeah. It was, yeah.
and
When you look
Kyrie
at
was
that,
number 3. If we had to redo how they've played, I don't. It would be like Luca at like 1 or 2, and then like 8 Celtics, but some Mavericks or something, because
well,
that's how
yeah.
it feels.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, damn shame.
But yeah, some relevant stats. Again, in game two, Celtics attempting 13 more threes than the Mavs, but because they struggled, they only made four more. So again, only a 12-point differential in the threes. So definitely a winnable game for the Mavs. Mavs only went 6 of 26. That's yucky. Six threes in a game in 2024 is terrible. Celtics only went 10 of 39, which is not good by their standard. Mavs ended up going 16 of 24 from the free throw line. 66% from the free throw line is abysmal. The
It's a failing grade.
the Celtics went
They failed,
19 of 20. That's
dude.
95%. Mavs went 66%. Missing eight free throws in a game that you lose by seven is horrible.
Terrible. I mean, because then that PJ Washington bucket ties the game. You know what I mean? Like,
Right,
by no means were they going to make all eight of those, but they would have at least made maybe four or five more. You know what I mean? Like, so at least league average. You know what I mean?
right.
It totally changes how you play the game. And yeah, I've noticed that quite a bit. For the matter, I don't know what's going on. Especially, I've noticed PJ Washington's been missing a lot of his free throws, which is not good.
Yeah, I think after game two, even Luka was like, "Oh, we got to be better. I got to make my free throws. I got to not turn the ball over." Like he was taking some responsibility, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's a tough look in a game where the Celtics shoot really badly from three that you manage to lose, and big part because you can't make free throws. It's tough.
Yeah.
Uh, Celtics again, eight more assists, five more turnovers, so they forced five more turnovers on the Mavericks. Those transition buckets we mentioned, that's easy points for them as well. And I think these are the kind of little things that won them the game. Tatum ended up with 12 assists, so he, again, not didn't shoot great this game, but facilitating the offense. Jrue Holiday, I mentioned, probably had his best game. 26 points, 11 of 14 from the field, 9 of 9 in the paint, which I thought was crazy. It's something they missed
Crazy.
in the game.
Cheat code. He's goaded.
Yeah, he was doing awesome. Luka ended up with 32, 11, and 11, which is classic Luka. But Gafford really felt like the only other Mav that impacted this game. I felt like his defense was pretty good. He was pretty good as a pick and roll threat. I think Lively really struggled these first two games. He did better in game three, but in game one and two, I was like, man, I hate that I put Lively above Porzingis. That's not looking too good right now.
Yeah,
But
but I
it was the relevance of him.
it's also like coming out of the last series, like, who would have thought that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think our list was very good. And also, Porzingis hasn't played playoff game in a while. So it's like, you never know how
It
people are
can
gonna.
be argued that because he's doing bad, that's why the Mavericks are losing, because that's how relevant he is.
Exactly.
So
So he's important, which is what we kind of did our
yeah,
list on. I will die on that. I will die on that hill of our list.
die
It's
on
a
the
good
list. We're
die on the
dying on it.
list.
We're gonna make
Dying
another
on it.
list at the end of this.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Injury news. Luka, it was revealed after the game he had a pain-killing injection before to numb an area of his thoracic contusion. And is expected to do it again, game three. So that's another thing he's dealing with on top of the knee injuries and ankle injuries. And remember, last series he slammed his fucking head into the court or whatever. Like he's going through it. And then he's supposed to play in the Olympics. So we'll see. Porzingis, we mentioned earlier, he was listed as day to day with here we go, Doctor Talk. Rare torn medial retinaculum, allowing discoloration of the posterior tibialis tendon.
Yeah, I heard them explain it before the broadcast today. It's like the tendon above your foot. And it's like it's a very rare thing because apparently it's really long and it's like strong because there's so
Hmm.
many things around it and muscles, but it's like disconnecting from the muscle. I was like, fucking Jesus.
Dude, this guy gets
This
every injury.
sounds terrible.
Listen, it's day to day though with that.
Yeah, I was like, I get up and my neck has a crick, and I'm like, I'm day to day. I'm
I
questionable.
don't know if I go to work, guys. I don't know, man.
I was like, yeah, I got posterior tibialis tendon. And it's like, you're going in, maybe. I was like, geez. Oh my God, how did I get this job?
Yeah, important to note, it's unrelated to his calf injury. So people were speculating, oh no, did he come back too fast
Yeah,
and re-injure it? No, it's a totally different thing. He's just a guy that's like 7'3" and big and skinny, and those guys
yeah.
always get foot injuries because that's how it works.
It's tough on their body, yeah.
And there's a quote from Joe Mazzulla. He is doing anything and everything he can to be able to play. Well, he didn't play in game three, so didn't do enough pointing us. Slacker.
Yeah. Come
So
on.
let's transition to game three in Dallas. I didn't personally watch a lot of this game. I did catch parts of the second half because I was eating with the group of people I played pickleball with, and it was on where we were eating. But we were playing pickleball during the first half, so I definitely didn't see that. So I'll let you take the lead here, and I'll jump in when needed.
Yeah, for sure. So I watched the first half of this game, and right off the bat, you could tell the energy. The Mavericks were playing with a lot more energy. They're playing at home. American Airlines Center was very loud. Mavericks got to like a 9-2 lead. Celtics took a very early timeout. You could tell, the Mavericks was feeling good. Luka,
Hmm.
it's funny you mentioned this for game two. He started 5 of 7. Pretty sure he started 5 of 7 in this game as well. Like he was just doing Luka things. And also, what was different than the other games, Kyrie Irving was making a lot of really good
He
shots.
made his first three of the series.
Yeah,
He didn't make a three in the first two
he
games.
was 0 of 14.
That is
Uh,
so
uh,
bad.
sounds that sounds right. I believe they said that in the broadcast. But yeah, his first shot was a three and he made it. And I remember seeing him make quite a few threes I mentioned earlier in the pod.
Played
Uh,
45 minutes in this one.
yeah, I mean, he was doing good. He was the highest scorer tonight, with 35 points.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, not enough. So in the first quarter, yeah, Mavericks took a lead. They had the biggest lead of the series so far. I think it got up to 13 at one point.
Mm.
Celtics took another timeout, and then the Celtics started doing Celtics things, chipping away at it, playing good team basketball, passing it around. Jayson Tatum, also worth noting, I believe he ended the first quarter with, I want to say 18 points,
He's
or at least,
scoring.
yeah, he was scoring.
Mhm.
So that was something. Even so you're missing Porzingis, so he was out this game.
Yeah,
They had Xavier Tillman coming in instead
played
of Luke.
well in limited minutes.
He did actually quite well. I saw him and I chuckled, and I shouldn't have.
You saw him and you said, "Who's that?"
Is that the guy from the Grizzly?
Yeah,
Is
no
that
Luke Cornett. No Luke
yeah.
Cornett. He was all fake. They were never going to play him in the
Never,
finals, I
yeah.
guess.
Yeah, like he was just there for the regular season.
He played
Um,
like last series.
I know. But so, Celtics were doing Celtics things. Mavericks, when they're not making shots, then the Celtics are able to kind of get ahead on offense, and the Mavericks don't set their defense, and then they get, they drive into the hoop, they get a layup, they pass it out, make it three. Like they're Sam Hauser, worth noting, who like started 3 for 3 from three. Derek White
Three for
couldn't hit
three
a
from three.
shot. He was hitting backboards and shit like Kentavious Caldwell Pope,
Like
like our
PG.
legend, like PG. But he was doing well on defense, so it didn't really matter. But yeah, so eventually the Celtics came back late at the end, and the first quarter ended 30-31 with the Mavericks up by one.
Mm.
And then the second was very even, and the Mavericks they went up in the half 51-50. So the second quarter was a lot of, it was just stayed very even the whole time. Like no one could really get ahead more. I know, like I think to end the quarter, the Mavericks were up by like 5, and then the Celtics kind of got like a transition three. Like Jayson Tatum made a pull up three,
Mm.
and then they got the last possession, and they had a lot of the Celtics had a lot of second chance points as well. I remember seeing Jrue Holiday getting rebounds, offensive rebounds, passing it out. Someone missing it, but he got the rebound, made a layup very easy. Just getting those opportunities is how you win the games. And if you're not making shots on the offensive end, it's going to be hard to win.
Right.
So going to the third quarter, Celtics, they took control of the game in the third and then never let it up. The Mavericks almost caught up in the fourth, getting it as close as 2, but then Luka fouled out down the stretch, and the Celtics were able to hold them off.
Yeah. Tough.
So very tough.
The
This
the
is
foul the call on the foul out was questionable.
Was it?
Um, it was a little questionable. Like it probably was a foul, but it's like, do you call their best player? Do you foul out their best player at the end of a close finals game?
Yeah,
Is that what Adam Silver wants for the finals ratings?
especially probably for a foul that I'm assuming was pretty minuscule. Like I'm
Yeah.
assuming anything like crazy. And earlier I mentioned in the game there was Luka went up for a layup, and then Al Horford kind of like pushed him in the back and also hit him in the arm, but they called the foul on Jrue Holiday, so they overturned it. which doesn't make any sense to me because he still was fouled. This some questionable stuff going on, but this is definitely the game they needed to win. And it's unfortunate that the best player in this series. I still think Luka is the best player in this series.
Hmm
It's
He
unfortunate.
he still has been, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, he was got fouled out. And who do you have come in? Who's that fifth player? Who'd they bring in? Is it Josh Green? Like, who are you bringing in?
Right. Right. I mean,
Like,
you're losing Luka in a clutch situation.
and you're
It's
gonna
like you're
put in
just
Tim
doomed.
Hardaway. It's like,
Oh,
yeah, I
oh,
don't
I
know
have
about
a
that.
fun fact. You ready for this? 19 minute,
Yes.
19 minutes. Give me points, rebounds, assist for Tim Hardaway.
0-0-0.
0-3-0.
Three assists.
Three rebounds.
Hey.
Three rebounds.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I actually remember those
19
rebounds
minutes.
because he got the rebound and immediately passed it to anyone else. I love that.
Give me the stat line for 4 minutes of Jaden Hardy.
4 minutes of Jaden Hardy.
4 minutes. Only 4 minutes he's played really in the whole finals after playing a lot in the conference
I'm gonna
finals.
say 2-0-0.
0-0-0.
Okay. Uh, okay.
Give me the stat line for 16 minutes of Derek Jones Jr. Only
Okay.
16. Starting power
Okay.
forward.
Yeah, so I know for sure he made at least a two in the first quarter.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go 2-2-0.
2-3-1. Pretty close.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yeah, so the others just
Yeah,
not
that's yeah, that's not how you win games, and especially it's also, it's hard to
yeah.
see because
I got two more. Two more for
okay,
you.
okay, keep going, keep going, keep going.
Okay, give me 8 minutes of Maxi Kleber.
Maxi Cleaver.
Maxi
Um,
Kleber.
I remember he had an open three and he passed up shooting it for some reason.
Okay.
So I go 2-2-0.
Yeah, 0-1-0. Not a good game for 8 minutes of Maxi Kleber. Yeah. Why is he
Only
playing?
eight.
He's not looked good in any of these games,
Yeah,
by the
it's
way.
true. Yeah,
That's why we haven't talked about him this whole time. Last
yeah.
one, Josh Green, 22 minutes.
Okay, I'm gonna go 3-2-1.
Close. 3-2-3.
Wow.
That was pretty close.
Nice, 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 nice.
Uh,
Yeah. So generally, again, if you want to win the finals in the NBA, you need to when you play minutes, you got to make points.
and
And
I'm not only a box score guy, but I've watched the first two games of the finals, and these guys don't do anything aside
yeah,
from get passes from Luka and play defense. That's about it. So if you're not making shots, or you're not assisting shots, or you're not getting a rebound, what are you doing? Because
it's just so
Luka has the ball or Kyrie has the ball. So you're not doing anything else.
it's super strange to me because we watched these series before. We watched them in the we watched the Timberwolves, watched the Clippers. Like these are players who were very important and playing pretty well. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they were doing things that they needed to. Maybe the box score wouldn't reflect it, but it's not like we were doing like we are right now. Like basically just talking shit about it. It's like they were able. So I don't know. Are the Celtics that good, or are they that the limelight of the finals is that tough? Because I thought at least this game playing at home would be
Yeah.
different. And you know what? It wasn't really that different. I had a my friend who I was got a drink with. He placed some bets for the
Blake?
game. Blake, yeah, shout out Blake again. He had a bet. It was over under for Daniel Gafford. 6.5 points.
Mm. He
He
had
picked the
six.
over.
He had
Yeah,
six.
yeah. He
He should
picked
have
the over,
known.
obviously. Because 6.5 is like, oh come on, Daniel Gafford's gonna make more than that. No, he didn't. And it's just, it's hard to see because they have played so well in this, in this playoffs. You know what I mean? And then you get to the end and it's just, not the team it was or it seemed like.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna quote Jaylen Brown and I'm gonna say, don't let him get one.
Don't let him get one.
Don't let him get one. And hopefully the Mavericks push it to 7. But I mean, do you want to talk about what we think is gonna happen?
Ah,
Do we want to go to
it's
that?
3-0. Dom, I asked you this question a couple episodes ago at 3-0 in the Pacers series. How many teams have come back from 3-0?
The answer is 0.
Zero. Yeah, the amount of points that Jaden Hardy had in this game.
Yeah.
So
Also, I guess before we go into that, I forgot there are some relevant stats about Game 3 we can just talk a little bit about.
Yes.
that you
Oh,
were nice enough. I can do it.
okay.
Okay. But thank you for collecting this. So the Celtics attempted 21 more threes, which is crazy, and made eight more than the Mavs, and that's 24 points right there.
You can't let them have 20 plus points on threes. You
You
can't.
can't.
You'll lose every time.
Yeah, the Celtics had nine more assists and five more blocks than the Mavericks. The amount of threes the Celtics made in this game got them the win, despite the absence of Kristaps Porzingis. And the Mavs having seven more rebounds, attempting two more free throws, scoring 16 more points in the paint, committing two less fouls, and turning the ball over less.
Yeah, they won on all the margins.
Yeah,
They won all the little things. They just got shot out of the game,
I
literally.
yeah, I remember watching the first quarter of this game, and I remember seeing Kyrie and Luka getting in the paint and making shots, and I was like, "Is this the first time I've seen this in the series?"
Hmm.
Like they were doing really well in there, and there was lobs. Derek Lively, Derek Jones Jr. got one. Um, Gafford got a couple. Like they were able to operate in the paint, and that's what they do.
Hmm.
But like you said, like the Celtics just shot them out of the series. It's crazy, and they because of that they went up 3-0 against the Mavericks, and we got a game four in Dallas, a winner go home. Well, you're already home.
Ooh.
So I mean,
Uh, man.
interesting. Yeah. So
What was the best series this playoffs? Was it
I
was it
mean,
Wolves Nuggets?
Wolves
Series was
Nuggets
nuts.
and also Knicks Pacers
Nick
was good,
Knicks
but
76ers, that was a pretty good series too.
that was good because it really could have went the other way if like fouls were called and like those
Yeah.
2 minute reports were crazy. But Knicks Pacers was good too because you literally were like, okay, are they gonna
Dude, there
are
was the one game the
Alec
Knicks lost by
Burks
like
gonna win
50 out of
them?
nowhere. It was crazy. It's like,
Yeah,
what
oh yeah, I
happened?
do remember. I think that was game five. It was yeah, it was. I remember that. I remember that one. It was in Indiana, and like literally the Pacers could not miss from three. It was
Pacers like subbed their team out in the middle of the third quarter. Like, all right,
yeah,
we're done.
it was
It's
like
over.
we did what we came here to do. But yeah, I thought it was just that series was so interesting because it's like, okay, so who from the Knicks is gonna win? Who's gonna be around at the end? You know?
Dom, I
Uh,
hope you're not looking. Give me the highest point total the Mavericks have scored in this finals.
I'm not looking. I think it's 99.
It's 99. It's today,
Yeah,
game three.
I
95 a couple, or sorry, 98 a couple days ago, 89. It's hard to win games if you can't score more than 100 points in 2024.
yeah, no, I wasn't looking just now, but I remember seeing it when we were just right before we went on, and I was like, "That's you can't." I mean, okay, you know for sure Luka and Kyrie playing. You can assume that they will combine for at least like 50 points.
Hmm.
At least that's two people making 50 points. That's crazy. Okay,
Hmm.
so okay, so the others, everyone else, like maybe these rotation seven, six, seven other players, they got to at least make 10 points, maybe a little bit less, whatever. And then we'll get up to like 110, 120. And
Yeah.
they're not doing that. And I think this game, they combined for like 67 or something. It was like even higher, like 50 safe, but they've been
Yeah.
doing more. Anyways,
And the Celtics have scored 107, 105, 106.
which is
Those aren't winnable numbers to beat. Those are numbers that
absolutely,
can be beaten.
except for game one, game two, and game three were games. Game two, because of the threes and the
Threes.
missing.
Right.
Game three, because Porzingis is out.
Yeah.
Um, and again, like I remember seeing Porzingis out for game three, and I wasn't happy, even though I'm rooting for the Mavericks. Like I want them to win, like when the team is at full strength. You know what I
Right.
mean? But I was like, you have to be an opportunist. You have to
Hmm.
be like, it's like, okay, so this is the game. This is the one. You swing the momentum. You win this game. You win the next one. You go back to Boston, try and win game five, which would be super important. But
Hmm.
guess what? You have zero momentum now.
Yeah,
Zero.
it's not looking too good. Not looking good for the Mavericks, unfortunately. 3-0, the finals probably over, and a sad finals it was. Boston will be banner 18. They'll have more championships than the Lakers. So sorry.
If only
Very
we had Dan Hurley as our head
uh,
coach next year.
just when you had the 4 year span there after the bubble championship where you had them. But now we're back. Now we're
Yeah.
back. So
It's okay. Again, I'm just again. I'm just glad there's parity. I'm just glad like this is the first time they've won. Also, well, they haven't won yet, but this is the first time they will probably win since 2008.
Right.
So
And
it's been a while.
happy for Al Horford, old man. Happy for Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Drew Holiday.
Happy for Jordan Walsh. He deserves
Happy
it.
for Jordan Walsh for
Yeah,
sure.
summer league
Xavier
king.
Tillman, love him.
Yeah. But
Luke
yeah, I mean, Luke Cornett is gonna
Cornett,
say.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Sam
excited for him.
Hauser, Kings a lot. But yeah, so I mean, we'll see. I anticipate that I don't think Dallas will go down as a sweep. I
Mhm.
hope not. But seeing it end in 5 games seems likely. It's hard to win in TD Garden already.
Yeah.
So you win game 4 by the skin of your teeth, probably. You
hmm
go back to Boston. What more
Luka
can you
would be the first guy to come back from 3-0.
don't let him get one. Don't let him get one.
Everybody talks when they up or whatever you said before
Yeah.
the Devin Booker iconic photo.
I'll be damned.
Uh
Um,
yeah, we'll
yeah,
see. We'll see. We'll see. I was going to say something else and I already forgot what it was. So
you'll
that's not. Oh, I
remember.
was going to say game 1 of the finals I think had the lowest ratings in 20 years or something like that. And then game 2 had the highest ratings of any game since 2019 Raptors Warriors. So
That doesn't make any sense
I
anyway.
don't know what happened there.
Um, that's ridiculous. But I would have thought that like last year would have less ratings just because
Yeah,
like,
right. Nuggets Heat.
Denver and Miami are pretty like small. Miami's not small market. I know Boston's large, but Dallas is probably kind of small. Um, anyways, it's probably, these narratives that are all around.
Yeah.
But yeah, want to talk some finals MVPs, some
Let's talk finals
predictions
MVPs. Let's do.
real
I
quick.
think I liked what we did last time when we alternated. I thought that was fun.
Cool. So you
I
want me
said
to go first?
I put top 5, but that only leaves one of us with only 2 choices. So maybe I'll do top 6. Why not?
Okay. Why not? So
Yeah. Who in your eyes do you think is finals MVP right now?
for the only second time in history, the finals MVP will be not on the winning team.
Oh,
It'll be Luka Doncic.
you think Luka Doncic? You think if they get swept, they're gonna give finals MVP to Luka Doncic? That'd
He
be
should
crazy.
have been MVP of the league,
I
dude.
was wondering how far we would get into this list before Luka was named. I wondered if it was going to be one.
But I mean, if I'm being honest, so I've watched these games. So to me, it's either
He's the best
Jalen.
player on the floor for
He
sure.
is the best player on the
There's no
floor,
question
but
about
for
that.
sure, like if you're finals
But they
MVP,
haven't won a game, so
it's kind of
that's
like
the issue.
it's kind of a slap in the face. So like I don't seriously mean Luka
Who was the other
Doncic.
person that won on a losing team?
I'm pretty sure it was Jerry West.
Shout out Jerry West, man.
Yeah, Jerry. I'm pretty sure he won finals MVP, and the Celtics still won the finals. Yeah, I think back then it was like a vote, and it seemed like they were going to win, but they didn't. But the votes were already cast. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, Jerry West won, but he didn't win the
The
championship.
legend.
Yeah. So I'll go Jaylen Brown.
You're not going Luca? You could go Luca. It's your pick.
I mean, I really do think it needs to be the best player on the floor. So I will go with Luka. It is not going to happen,
Yeah.
but I would
It's
say
okay. This is
Luka.
our podcast. It
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
exactly. Give me a vote. Come on, guys, give me a vote. Yeah, I'll say Luca. I'll say Luca because he is playing out of his mind, especially with the injuries that he's having. Like it's just incredible. It really is. Yeah. So
Yeah,
what about
Luca,
you?
good choice. Best player on the floor. I will then go with the player that has been the best on the better team, and that is Jaylen Brown. He's had a great finals. I was in between him and another person prior to this game, but I think this game really solidified Jaylen Brown for me as the guy.
I'm gonna say the other person. I know who you're thinking of
You
because
know who
it's
I'm
who
thinking of?
I'm thinking of. Jrue Holiday.
Jrue Holiday at the number 3 slot. Yeah, I
Absolutely.
thought of him as the best Celtic after game 2, maybe.
Hmm.
But game 3, Jaylen Brown really had a great game again. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Drew Holiday's been just playing so well, and like he said, I think after game 2, just doing whatever the team needs him to be, and I mean that's you can't really ask more of a player, and he's executing it very well.
yeah.
So, yeah, I picked Drew Holiday.
4, I'll go Tatum. The numbers don't jump off the page, but today had a really good shooting day. But yeah, facilitating offense. being a leader on the floor for them. I think that is a fair pick, I think,
Yeah,
for him.
yeah. I think so too because he's playing well. Like it's not like he is the best players in NBA history aren't the most efficient shooting the basketball, you know what I mean?
Right.
But he's playing really well in other ways, and he's still a threat because you have
Yeah.
to respect him. And I don't know who to pick for my third one. In all honesty,
You don't
like
know who to
I'm
pick
thinking,
here at the 5 slot.
I really don't know because I don't really see anyone else like being up there. It's not Kyrie Irving. Like I'm thinking of like our top players, right? Not Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
You know what? I kind of want to say Al Horford,
Mm.
which is interesting because like Derek White hasn't really been. This is not his series. He was. I was gonna say blowing his brains out in the first. I meant playing his brains out in like the first like
Oh my God.
series. Yeah, that was funny. He's playing really well in the series before, but now he's just a role
Derek
player.
White, him and Drew Holiday, best defensive backcourt in the NBA, maybe. I don't know. They're
I
kind
don't
of
know. Have you heard of
locking
Damon
them
and
down.
Dom? I don't know.
Backcourt? Are we a backcourt? I mean,
I'm
we're
a
like the
shooting
height of
guard.
we're like the height of a backcourt, but I don't
Yeah,
play.
but like
I
we don't
play
play.
like a center. I'm only like 6'3", but I don't play like I'm a point guard
I
because
guess we're more of a front. I mean,
at
I
at the
definitely.
rec center, I'm not playing against 7 feet guys, so
Yeah, yeah. I'm definitely more of a shooting guard, but I also like to get down low, so I'm
yeah.
power forward
You're like
two-ish.
a Jalen Brunson. That's my comp for you.
Really?
The post footwork, as
Oh,
and
I
at
do
the
love that
guard.
footwork. Oh my God, I do love the footwork. Big footwork guy. Not
Big
feet guy,
footwork
but
guy.
footwork guy.
Not a feet guy, huh?
Feet guy, but a footwork guy.
That
Okay.
title of the
And
episode. Dom's not a foot guy.
and then I honestly, if Porzingis
Yeah,
played,
so adorable.
uh, yeah, Iris is cute. If Porzingis played this game, I probably would have picked him in this third spot, but I'll say Al Horford.
Yeah,
I'll say it.
Porzingis really
He
good in
played
the
really
first two
well in the
games.
first 2 games.
So
Yeah.
good. That puts me in a really tough spot. I was hoping you would take Porzingis so I didn't have to. And I feel like I have to, but I'm in between him. I'm in between him and Derek White. And looking at my list here, I got one more person on here. That's Maxi Kleber because he's playing so badly that the Celtics are taking advantage of it. Uh,
Imagine, like, if Maxi Kleber is like,
like, thank you for being on the floor and allowing us to win the series.
he's like on the plane to Germany, and they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna give you the Finals MVP." I was like, that was terrible.
Yeah,
So who are
so
you gonna go? Who are you gonna go?
this is tough. Just because he didn't play, I'll go Derek White.
Yeah,
Um,
I get
yeah,
that.
Porzingis, the first two games, big impact. He was so awesome. I
Absolutely.
think if he played more, he's definitely up here. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
but you know what? But I will say this about the good thing about the Celtics winning this game is that I think the pressure is off of him to come back. So now you can just focus on healing and getting better
gotta get ready for the
quicker.
Latvian Olympics.
They did make it,
They
but I
did.
don't. Because they beat Lithuania, but now Lithuania is in the qualifying. Like they have to qualify again for the Olympics. I'll be our Olympic guy.
Is is
I'm gonna do all the
Matas
deep.
Buzelis playing for Lithuania?
He is actually.
Nice.
Yeah.
Gonna get drafted to the
Buzalis.
Bulls, by the way.
Matis Buzalis.
Oh,
Wait,
I
he
was.
what?
He's gonna get drafted by the Bulls. That's my prediction.
Because I mean the GM is Lithuanian.
The
So
GM's Lithuanian and he's from Chicago.
yeah, I mean that would be pretty cool.
So,
Yeah, just get him and then trade Vucevic and then just develop Buzalis
oh
and
my
then I
God.
can.
The Vucevic trade is maybe the worst trade in Bulls history. That trade was traded the pick that was going to be Franz Wagner and Wendell Carter Jr. for Vucevic. What an awful trade.
I don't know. At
And
the
another
time, people
pick.
liked it. Yeah,
So
we'll find out what they turn
I
out to
think the
be.
pick that was Jet Howard maybe this year. Um,
Eh, you know.
he was good in summer league. He didn't play at all. You know what
Yeah.
they could have used? Shooting. You know what Jet Howard does? Shoot.
Let me guess. Shoot. Oh, you
Yeah.
beat me. Anyways, so yeah, I will be our correspondent for the Olympics because I think I might have mentioned this. I think I'm going to be in Lithuania during the Olympics.
That's
So
pretty awesome. That's
I
gonna
will
be
definitely
great.
go to like a bar
Like a
there with
pub, yeah,
my
yeah.
brethren and
Just
watch
like
some of that.
wear your like Lithuanian skeleton shirt.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
that guy.
packing it. You know
Oh,
I'm packing.
you
My
better.
dad also. I bought
You
my
should
dad
only
that
wear
shirt
it
too.
every day, I think, probably, right?
It's gonna be rank. I'm gonna be sweating. There's no AC in Lithuania. I'm
Wash
gonna
it
be
every
sweating.
day.
With what? My tears? The Lakers didn't sign Dan Hurley.
I
Tries.
can't believe the Lakers signed I was trying to think of a really
A
bad
first
coach.
time head coach. Oh,
Trying to think of a really
JJ
bad
Redick.
one. I couldn't. I couldn't. It was too hard.
Mike Budenholzer. I'm kidding.
He's literally the Suns head coach.
He literally is, but he's also literally. I don't think he's that good of a coach. But
Wow.
that's me though. But he has more championships than I do.
The Lakers signed LiAngelo Ball to be their head coach.
We're trading for all my sons.
No,
Well, that's LeVar.
Leandro's the other
I
brother.
was like, that's not the dad.
LeVar would be hilarious.
LeVar would be a very funny head coach. Um. Anyways, so what do you think's next for the Mavericks?
Yeah, we'll do this real quick because I know we're pushing it here.
It's okay.
And the series is technically not over, but I don't know. You
Yeah.
you traded at the deadline. This hasn't been a ton of time to click. I think you look back on the series, you see how the Celtics kind of shut down what you wanted to do. Think about how you can adjust that for the future. Probably get some shooting on this team, because clearly no one can shoot aside from PJ Washington in the corners, and that's it. No one else can hit a three. Derek Jones unfortunately can't. PJ hasn't been unless he's in the corner. Josh Green's not hitting shots. Tim Hardaway is supposed to be hitting shots. He's not. He's not doing anything when he's on the court. So yeah, finding some shooting around Luka, so when he makes the pass, it's to someone that's going to actually put the ball in the basket. I think is probably priority number one. The defense feels very systemic, so I feel like it is whoever you have there, you can probably get them to buy into that. I don't think you need specialists in that regard. I think Luka and Kyrie are working as a backcourt. I think the lobs are working. I think their center stuff is working really well. It's really just the extra shooting around them for when they kick it out, I think is their big focus.
Absolutely. I agree with you. That's everything I was gonna say. Um, and again, like this is a team that is very good. They made it this far because at their best, they are better than a lot of these teams. But the thing is, like you mentioned, like not a lot of times clicking and going against a team that the big pieces have been together for years,
Yeah,
you know, and they know their system through and through. They live and die by it, and it's worked out. They're gonna get their 18th championship by doing that. But by no means do I want
unless.
to blow it up. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I like a lot of the pieces they have. I don't think they'll be able to keep. Oh, like, is Derek Jones Jr. going to sign again for vet minimum?
Hmm.
Probably not.
Hmm.
Thankfully, I mean, you have like a lot of some rookie stuff, like some Josh Green's rookie contract and things like that. I don't know anyone's expiring contract. You gotta get Hardaway
Yeah,
off that. You gotta because I know he's making like a couple million, and like that could be used for a shooter, a wing of some sort that would be able to be a factor.
I remember when the team had Reggie Bullock and Dorian Finney-Smith.
Yeah, I
Those
mean,
guys can shoot the ball.
getting Dorian Finney-Smith back would be great. If there's some way you can like finagle that. Reggie Bullock would be really. I mean, you could probably sign him for vet minimum because he's not playing at all for the Rockets. So,
Yeah, I forgot he
um,
was on the Rockets.
I
And
don't know.
that's my team.
Right. Well, you didn't forget about it right now. Did you forget right this second until I said it? No
Yeah.
way. Oh. Okay.
Yeah, and those guys used to be on the team. You have Markieff Morris. I don't know. He could have got some run. Maybe throw him out there, see what he can do.
Yeah, I mean, when he was on the Lakers 2020 team, it's like he was because he could shoot. Again, this is 4 years old. Like I remember he was kind of slow, but he could shoot. I mean, he reminds me of like Al Horford, kind of like a worse Al Horford for
Yeah.
sure. But like he was able to make threes and play decent defense. But now he's probably just there because bench, like just support. He's
Mhm.
like the Jared Dudley, basically.
Yeah, exactly. He's a James Johnson, but less
And,
scary.
and Jared Dudley's actually already on the bench for the Mavericks, so it's
True.
totally
And
fine.
Tyson Chandler,
And
legends.
I forget. We walked past him. Remember that
Yeah,
was
we were right next to him at Summer League. It was crazy.
that was crazy. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
But
Max Prosper, maybe that guy will play next year.
I was gonna say, yeah, I know. I remember he got some running. He was pretty good, but
Alex
um,
Fudge, I don't even know who that is, but he's on this
I
team.
don't either. Good name though. Good name. I do want to say though that we've been potting for like what, like an hour or 20 minutes.
Does it feel that
And
long? Doesn't even feel that long.
yeah, and Junior has been barking the entire time.
Yeah, this has been an awesome listening experience, I'm sure.
I just don't understand how he's able to do that. I'm actually kind of impressed.
The cardio on this fucking dog, man.
Yeah, his lungs, man. Yeah,
The
he's gonna be
resilience.
he's gonna be a swimmer. He's gonna be able to swimming long. He's gonna be able
Uh,
to last about.
Get this guy on the court. He is a hard worker.
This guy's working hard. I'm telling you right now, as soon as we get off, he's gonna be working me hard. I'm gonna be just barking at me even closer now. Anyways,
You're gonna get in his face.
start barking. I'm gonna start barking in his face. Yeah, yeah, that's what you do. But no, yeah, but I still will very much watch like the next game. I think the next game is Friday. Kind of a quick turnaround. The last games have been 2 days in between. This one's just gonna be one day.
Yeah,
So we will see how that goes. And I think then the
I
game five.
believe CJ will be visiting me this weekend. So
Maybe. I mean, I know I'm going to be out, but I will try to have the game in front of me.
I mean, I'll
Well,
look at it. We'll see.
yeah. Yeah, and it is a game
It's about to be
four
the off season. I'm so sad.
series. Yeah, it is about the off season. But what I love is the off season. There's so much opportunity and promise.
Gonna make
Like,
so many fucking tier list.
remember how hopeful I was last year, and then how hopeful I'm gonna be again this year. It's just like
Exactly.
I just love whenever they do the free agent days are so fun. Like those 3 days where people are
Yeah.
being signed everywhere. I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh, it's so fun.
We're gonna have a whole free agency recap. We're gonna have
Yeah, but maybe
draft.
we split it. Like I think last year we didn't. It was like a 2.5 hour pod. I was going
No,
team
we
by
we did entire off season recaps because we started right before the season started. So we
right.
spent like 5 hours talking about every team. So yeah, we split it into we just
Yeah.
went alphabetically. It was kind of silly, but
I gotta say though that this is going to be our one of the last pods before the end of the season.
yeah,
And I want to commend us. We
yeah,
did we did it. We did the whole season.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's
We
pretty
made
cool.
it. The
We made it.
podcast is alive.
We made it to Dirk Nowitzki, dude.
Junior's celebrating us wildly. It's great.
Yeah, that's what it is. I
Oh
wish.
yes! This is
Let's
the background the
He's
whole time.
going this whole time he's been screaming bang.
You taught it
As
to
Mike
him. It's
Green
your
would
fault.
say. Yeah, it's my fault. But on that note, I probably should go. But I will watch the next couple games. Thanks again for listening if you have been listening to this, and let us know what you think. If Damon took the shot and he missed. I don't know if that was really for real, but he kind of just threw it up.
I just threw it up.
Um,
I turned a little bit. I could see
you did
Chris
a
just
little swing move. You did a little swing
yeah.
through.
Here. Let's do it from a crazy angle here.
Let's go crazy. Let's go crazy. Hit the roof or the ceiling.
I think I hit the ceiling fan.
Yeah, that's cool.
Close.
But I just want to say again, everyone who listened, thank you again for listening.
Iris is so
I
confused.
I'm very much looking forward to the next few games of the series. Hopefully, it becomes more interesting. If it doesn't, we'll be here. We'll be talking about it still. And again, thank you. And this has been another episode of Two Man Game with Damon and Tom.
Bark.